Jeff, you think Antonio Brown has played his last game in the league?
Yes, I do. I don't think he's going to get another opportunity. I think when you walk off in the middle of the third quarter and decide that you're not going to go back out there, it's going to be hard for anybody to trust you going forward. Again, when you talk about the role that he was playing, you think of Godwin's been injured, tears his ACL. Evans is coming back and trying to fight through a soft tissue. You don't have Leonard Fournette, and you're down to the Jets, and you decide now the time to bail out and go somewhere else and do topless jumping jacks through the end zone as you go. And the next day you're sitting front court, courtside at a basketball game. That doesn't show me that you have any regret or any sorrow about what you did the day before. I just don't see any other general manager or team going, hey, let's bring this guy in and embrace this. Tom Brady did everything he could do. I mean, he picked him up from the airport, put him in his house, did all those things to check all those boxes for AB. And you saw when he was frustrated what he did. And I'll be honest with you, I said last week, full admission here, I thought he was going to be the catalyst for this Bucs team to take the next step and to continue the pursuit of back-to-back championships. Fox told me I was a fool. I bought in, and I was fooled. I mean, that's just the honest truth. I thought this guy was going to do something. I never in a million years would have expected a player to do that in the middle of a game the way that he did, especially Antonio Brown, because for all of the things he has been, that's a competitive son of a gun on the field. And for him to walk off midway like that, man, I don't see how any team would bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think his talent is obviously quite seductive, and it's got a lot of people in a trance. But I think his career is done, in part because the one person or one of very few people who has the power to bring AB into an organization is Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And he kind of wronged Tom Brady at two different destinations. So, like, who else is going to, if you look around, Tom Brady can do anything, right? He couldn't even do it. So I don't know what quarterback or what coach or what general manager is going to look at Antonio Brown and feel like they can bring him in and he's going to be different. And the tough thing about AB is when they needed him most, like it felt like once he had some power and they had some expectations, that's when he was the problem. So there's like an incongruity there where no one's going to bring in a problem type of player like that unless you really need him. And if you really need him, he shows his true colors. So like Jeff said last week and just about every week in recent history, I said you can't trust AB. And I think that most of the NFL probably finally agrees with me now, and no one is going to bring him back. I will say the incident on the sideline, as like absurd and ridiculous as it is, that single incident, I think, is probably excusable for most teams. I think the Bucs would bring him back if it was just that. But it's not just that. It's a track record of stuff. And who knows what he's doing when the cameras aren't even there. So, I think AB is done. I want to be like Bruce Arians and find the compassion in my heart to wish him well and get all the help that he needs. And I do truly hope he does. But it is so hard to continue to say this stuff about a guy who's done this over and over again. And so I hope he gets the help that he needs, but I also hope that we don't start excusing away his behavior by pointing to mental health. Like, what he did was messed up out there, and that was minor compared to the many other things that he's been accused of.
Yeah, Neek, I mean, you were very firm in your statements last week that he can't be trusted, and now we look at what happened just this past week after you made those comments. So just hypothetically speaking, you were put on a team this upcoming season with Antonio Brown. How would you be able to react, and how would you feel as his teammate?
I mean, I'd be disappointed, honestly, but you go out there and you work. You got a job to do. I've been on plenty of football teams, and it wasn't all with Saints. Like, there's a lot of guys who can't be trusted and a lot of guys who are a little wild and make bad decisions. So I think being on a team with AB wouldn't be uncommon, but I'd be surprised considering how public his displays have been. I'd be shocked. But, I mean, I don't want to go into the history of all the people that I've been around, but there have been guys who've been accused of some pretty terrible things. Mm-hmm. And you go out there and you do your job. And I think that's probably true of just about every workplace. Like, you find out what you have to do and you do what you have to do and you try to stay to yourself and stay away from the people that you feel like you can't trust, like him.
No, it's a great point. Players don't get choices on other players coming into organizations. That's a general manager and a head coach. They make decisions. I've been on player boards, with Indianapolis, and they'll ask you questions. Hey, what are your thoughts here? But ultimately, they make the final call, and so players don't get the opportunity. And to Nick's point, I have been on teams. He's been on teams. You don't like everybody. You don't like the behaviors of everybody you play with. You still show up because you signed up for your job and you get paid to perform your job. And just like any other business in America and anywhere throughout the world, there's some that you don't want to hang around and you don't want to participate and do things with. But ultimately, they're part of the same team you are, and you got to move forward and execute to the best of your ability. So I'm with Domonique. You don't get the choice. You don't hire and fire when you're a player in the NFL. You play with the people that are beside you.
Okay, well, of course, we wish him the best, whatever he's going through. We hope he can find the help he needs. But really, this could not have come at a worse time. The Bucs are majorly depleted as they head into the playoffs.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.